How's it going, everybody? Thanks for watching another video. So tonight we're going to have a look at the Spyderco Delica 4 and compare it against one of their value knives, the Tenacious. So do you want something that's a little bit heavier, that's a heck of a deal, or do you want something more lightweight with better steel? Let's have a closer look. Always, guys, if you want to purchase either of these knives, just make sure to check the links in the description below. Alright, let's get together the Spyderco Delica 4 and the Tenacious. And just to see if you're trying to decide between getting a mid-sized knife like this one or something that's a little bit thinner and more lightweight, maybe you can choose between one of these two. Now, the reason I chose a Tenacious is this thing is a screaming deal. It's 50 bucks compared to the $81 you're going to get for the Delica 4, and I thought, man, there is not going to be a competition here. I'm going to be able to put up with the Tenacious size because it's going to be such a great deal. But it's got some problems. Let's have a closer look. Let's start off with the general size reference here. So that is a standard Sharpie pen. You can see the Tenacious is a lot larger than the actual Delica 4, and I don't mind it. The size is not the thing that I mind on here. What really kind of does it is how heavy this is. This is coming in at 4.1 ounces. The Delica 4 there is 2.5 ounces. I would still be able to deal with that, but really when you open this up, the ergonomics on here are not very comfortable. Starting with the jimping on the liner here, I'm really glad that we have access to the liner through this little finger choil here. You can just push it. Some knives you actually have to really dig down into the frame to push the liner over. But essentially what this does is, on the other hand, on the other side, when you get your finger in there, you can feel that jimping when you're really starting to cut down on things. And the handle comfort-wise, it feels good, but I can really feel the jimping starting to cut down. And you got these sharp corners here on the grip that aren't rounded. And you'll find rounded type cuts on higher priced knives, but I guess because they're trying to save costs, they just kind of shaved it down here. So sharp corners on here as well. And with those G10 handles and the lining going all the way through, it just makes for a very heavy, uncomfortable knife. And even though it's a great deal, just not comfortable. Alright, let me close up the Tenacious here so we can have a look at the similarities and differences here. Let's start off with the clips. So first of all, the important thing to know is that for you lefties, these are fully ambidextrous. There's holes literally on both sides of these knives, so you can carry them both left and right-handed, tip up and tip down. And of course for me, I would rather have a silver clip versus a black one. And of course, we have different locking mechanisms. The Delica 4 has a lock back, so you'll press on this little lever here. The lock back will come up, it'll release the blade. And on the Tenacious, we have a liner lock, which means that that little liner from the frame will kick over and lock onto the bottom of the blade there. To close it, you'll just push in here and rotate over. Like I mentioned before, it's very easy to get to. Some knives you really got to dig down into the handles to get it over, but here, you push it over and close it up. Now, since we're in this close, let's have a look at the actual handles on here. So this is a G10 handle. Very nice texture, but you know what? I would prefer the more aggressive textures on the Delica 4. You get a lot more friction and a lot more control on here. But for some people, they prefer G10. It's just I like the friction and control you get with the Delica 4 FRN. And since we're in this close, let's have a closer look at these FRN handles. See how nice and smooth and rounded they are at the top, as well as on the bottom. Nice and smooth. That's what makes it very comfortable. And you can see the skeletonized lining right here, but that doesn't add really much weight. As compared to the Tenacious, the liners, all over the place. Top, with the spine, bottom all over the place, and we can see just how sharp these edges are. And for the most part, you're going to see rounded edges more on expensive knives or higher priced knives. You can see the sharpness there on the bottom of the handle as well. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, man, I just prefer G10 handles. I like the look of it. I like the feel of it. It's more heavyweight feeling. But I gotta tell you, for an everyday carry knife, if you're just gonna be cutting open boxes, there ain't nothing wrong with FRN. It is durable, lightweight, and I think it's definitely worth carrying around something that's gonna disappear in your pocket versus something that's gonna be a little bit heavier. Now, the Tenacious does use a Chinese steel, the HCR13 MLV. The corrosion resistance is pretty decent, but the edge retention is nowhere near as good as it is on the VG10. Let me get that in focus. And it also has better corrosion resistance as well. Alright, let me close both of these up here so we can have a good look at what it's going to look like in your pocket. compare the thickness and all the good stuff. So here are the spines. Oh, just so much thinner. So much thinner. Flip it around to this side. Get a shot of it this way. Oh, you can just see how much thicker the bar stock on that is as well. So it's really going to determine how you use it. Let's take another shot this way. You can just see the difference there. And we'll go around the spine again just a little bit closer. Man. And I know, I'm telling you guys, I understand $50 for a meaty knife like this. It's hard to turn down, but you know, with the weight and how uncomfortable it is, I just don't think I would carry it. And that's why I got to give the edge to the Delica 4. Lightweight, thin, comfortable in the hand. I know it's $30 more, but I'd have to stick with the Delica 4. And once again, guys, that was the Tenacious. That's the bigger, heavier knife that you can get for just about $50. Heck of a deal, but if you want something more lightweight, thin, that's going to disappear in your pocket, of course, we're talking about the Delica 4. Well, alright, guys, that's the ending of the video. Don't forget to check the links in the description if you want to purchase either of these two knives. But I hope you found the video useful. If you liked it, please give it the thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to Kimo 365, please do. And remember, I'll catch you guys later.